Hi, my name's Chris, and I'm a lecturer in 3D games art.
And my name's Joe, and I'm a lecturer in concept art.
And welcome to Developer Mode. So today, I'm going to show you some stuff in Fusion 360. It's a CAD modeling software, so it was originally kind of manufacturing and product design, so you can kind of be really precise in here. And like with other software with games, they've kind of gone, oh, we can use that, and have gobbled it up into their sort of repertoire with a bit like Marvelous Designer. So, with your concept art, so you're normally drawing in 2D, and that's kind of how you start off in Fusion, is you sketch out what you want in 2D, and then you kind of give it form afterwards.
Okay.
I asked one of my old students kind of what they wanted to see from this, and they recommended bits like this that they found really useful.
What is that?
It's a bevel gear support. I'm not sure what it's from. I assume it's a part of a vehicle. I should know because I'm a vehicle artist, but I don't know every individual part there. But yeah, so you can kind of just start sketching out in 2D rather than beginning with primitives. So you've got a bunch of different tools that you can sketch out with. So I'm going to sort of start at this top sort of cylinder here. And you can see it's really precise of the measurements we're putting in. This is in millimeters, so it is really kind of
right. And it's not like poly or voxel based. It's basically run by maths. So it's like vectors and stuff.
Yeah, and like B-splines, I believe it's called, for the modeling for that. But we can just sort of start to draw out the kind of rough shape that this is making up. So I'm sort of following this path here. I know it's curved, but I can add that in a little bit afterwards. But you can just kind of select parts of it. Go -10 there as well, so it's the same. And then, and you can start to sort of give it the shapes that you're after then.
That's satisfying.
It is very satisfying. Yeah, you can just select it, and then, because it's all in one selection, it will intersect with itself at some point, so you kind of got to be a little bit careful.
I imagine this, that because it's like a CAD software, it's got a scale that's accurate to real life. Yeah,
absolutely. You can actually see that if I come up to my document settings, so you can see the units that it's set to. So this is all millimeters, and all these kind of values that you're putting in here, because I'm typing them in, you can see it makes them green, so you can always come back in here and go, actually, you know what, that's be -8. And it just adjusts it straight away. So it's really good because it's kind of completely non-destructive.
How much are you thinking about that accurate scale when you're like modeling normally?
Kind of depends on what you're doing. Generally, you want to be as accurate as you can. When we're creating weapons, which is what we use this a lot for kind of weapons for games, is you normally start with something that the exact measurements of. Right. So normally it's either like the bullet or the Picatinny rail, which is the bit that the sights kind of attach onto, because you can know exactly how big they are, and then you can kind of go from there. So I've kind of done this top profile here. So we can continue on and sort of sketch out this next bottom part. So I'm not going to be too precious about it today.
I imagine you're going to model one side of it and then mirror it somehow.
Yes, yeah, exactly. One thing I do wish that was in Fusion is a actual symmetry tool. You can't do.
But you have to manually copy paste and flip it.
Yeah, pretty much. So there's a mirror tool, but what it doesn't let you do is set up symmetry, and then that's it then, and you can just symmetry then forever. Is you've got to kind of do everything that you want to be symmetrical first, and then when you've finished, then mirror it over. So, a little bit annoying with that, but we can do this with the mirror here. So if I draw out a line here, which is going to be where I want to mirror it across, and then I can select all the sketches over here that I want to be mirrored, that one, and then I can select my mirror line, and it just snaps it across to the other side there. You can just kind of tidy up with your little scissors up here, any bits that you don't need. So that's kind of how you start off with Fusion, is you sort of build this 2D sketch here, and now you can select the different parts of it, and you can actually kind of give it form here. So we can start with sort of the bottom kind of plate here, I guess. And you can just extrude this out here, and it kind of gives it that form straight away, like that. Sometimes it tries to be clever. And once you've finished with a sketch, it's like, oh yeah, that's all you need. And we'll just hide it. But obviously we want to go a little bit further with this and keep bringing it up. You can see here it's gone red. And that's because I'm actually cutting through. I did bring this up already. Yeah, so it's trying to do a Boolean operation here, and it assumes you want cut, but you can just change it to be join instead. And then you've got that on here. And then you can do the same with this last kind of circular piece.
It's interesting. I don't see very many concept artists using it. Maybe it's just a bit too techy for our brain. But almost the way you're working, like extruding out from a flat plane, is the way that we would design in concept as well. We start with those like side-on silhouettes and stuff, and to be able to just grab them and
just grab and pull it out of there
is super satisfying, and I could see it being useful.
Yeah, it's really good because it's all run through maths, and it's all run through the references, that you don't have to worry about your topology or anything like that. It will always just work. So like I can see here, it's kind of got a curved bit here, so I can just select, if I select these two edges on the face, the edge there, and then let's go to my fillet tool here. And then you can pull these out and it'll just straight away put that curve in, and it's kind of like infinite resolution because like there is no topology to it. So you can sort of do the same, kind of select this whole
How easy would it be to like get rid of a fillet, like do it the inverse?
So that's actually a really good point with Fusion. The way, because it all works off references, it's always non-destructive. And one of the best parts about this software is the timeline bar, which is right down the bottom here. And you've got this kind of press and play, and you can kind of just go back. If I hide my PureRef there, you can go back and you can go back to previous history, and you can always change it. So, you know, if I did this extrude here, you can see I've done another operation here. You know, if I do another operation again after this, sort of smooth those bits off. You can see it's kind of back here. I can come to this and go, do you know what, I don't want that anymore. And you can just suppress it and it's gone. And you can even come back as well. And maybe I didn't bring this up high enough. So again, I can come back and I can edit the feature and I can go, actually, that needed to be higher.
Without interrupting the other changes?
No, and it'll follow everything on afterwards. So something that's really cool, actually, if I create another sort of object here, if I just create a rectangle, and then extrude this out. So you've got this here. So this is based off of this sketch here. Right. So I can come back to this sketch. If I want to maybe make it wider, I can just move the sketch and it will live update straight away. Any changes I make to the sketch, it'll make to this. I could do a pattern. So if I select this and then go, you know, do like a bit of an array. Again, all of these are based off this sketch. So as I move this, it updates those ones. Again, maybe if I went back before my array here, and let's select these edges here and give them a fillet to sort of round them off. And then I can go forward
now,
and it's reapplies. So it's always, because it works off those features, anything that you kind of do towards the start of your history, it'll just continue on afterwards.
And because it's all like vector and maths based, I imagine it doesn't take a big toll on your CPU at all.
No, it's probably, I mean, we could have a look.
Because that's like one of the biggest problems that a lot of our students have when modeling is that
you've done there. So yeah, CPU, it's kind of, it's using memory, but it's not really using the CPU like at all, especially when it's just idling. So yeah, and it is actually Fusion, you can run it off your browser.
Can you?
You can. It is laggy. You will know that you're running it off your browser, but it is possible. You can run any kind of design.
Yeah, I think
from browser.
This vector-based stuff you can. There's a painting program called Heavy Paint, and it's all vector-based. You're just painting with like vector-based shapes, and that runs completely in browser. It runs really well. So.
Yeah. So yeah, it's quite cool actually having quite a powerful 3D software that just runs completely kind of from the browser here. But like, it's good. It's really good for quick modeling. And that's the sort of the main reason we do it is particularly like weapon systems. They're very complex.
Yeah.
So being able to create all of those complex shapes, and you don't have to worry about your topology, you don't have to worry about your shading, like it will always shade perfectly, because that's just kind of how it works.
And eventually, will you take this and bring it into Max or ZBrush or something?
Yeah, so what we'll do, because at the moment this isn't topology, obviously, as we've already said, but you can turn it into topology. So if we tessellate this, and I can turn on the preview, so it turns it into topology straight away, and you can sort of choose how dense you want it. So you can change this. So what we typically do is you bring it into ZBrush. So when you're creating, any kind of assets and you're doing a high to low bake with it, is one of the main things you're baking down is your edge highlights, which you'll get, anyway that you've kind of got a sharp edge here. Now I could come in, if I cancel this, I could come into Fusion,
like manually bevel it.
Yeah, and I could do, a small kind of fillet like that. And that's giving me my edge highlight. But now if I come to my tessellate here, like the topology around here is pretty horrendous. So generally what you'll do is you won't do that, and you'll tessellate it on high, and you can change these. I won't do it because it might lag a little bit, but you can make it even denser than this, and then you throw that into ZBrush, do a Dynamesh and a polish, and then that would give you then your edge highlights. And because you've Dynameshed it, you've also got a mesh that you could sculpt onto then. So if you wanted to put any chips or any like bits of damage or anything like that onto it, you're in the right place then to do that. And then you can export out a separate version on a low tessellation, bring that into Max, Blender, Maya, whatever you like, and do your retop then, so kind of clean up. So, you can create quads here, so it's not triangulated on the corners here. Sometimes the mesh is okay from Fusion. Other times it's just horrendous. But that's fine. There's lots of retop tools that you can use to kind of create a better mesh.
Yeah, I guess that's not its purpose.
No, of course not. So whilst kind of working this way, it normally will make your retop process a little bit longer, but it makes the kind of what we call the high fidelity block out. So you make a really detailed version, essentially everything but the edge highlight is in here. And that is so much quicker that you kind of make up the time that end instead.
When you're doing this, I assume you move on to other software, because like our students on concept art are quite reluctant to sort of hop around. They like the idea that one software does everything, rather than accepting that different programs might be useful for different things.
So we do try to kind of encourage them to use whatever tool is kind of best for the task. In their second year, we forced them to use Fusion for their weapon designs, to learn a new software. Obviously, it's very different to modeling and anything else. And then when they get onto their third year, their final year, if they do the weapons module, they just have to do an industry sort of workflow. So this is one of them, but it's not the only one. And they can choose, what they want to do, whether they use sort of Booleans in Blender or they use Fusion. And you do find there will some that will go back to Blender, but a lot of them will stay in Fusion. Sort of once they finish that first level 5 module using it, it clicks in their head. They sort of understand.
It seems to have a sort of unique appeal to.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And they see the benefit of using it, and they'll kind of stay with that then. So yes, that's sort of like the basics of just sort of creating form in Fusion. You've got a lot of other tools in here to actually create form. I've mostly just used Extrude here, but you've got a lot of other options within here.
Can you did I see that you could just add in primitives as well?
Yeah, there are primitives, yes. You can do, just on sphere. Yeah. Generally though, I don't tend to do this. I will always sort of sketch, or start from a sketch, even if it is just a box. It just gives you, like I said about that stack, where you can start at the bottom and it kind of propagates the way through. Okay. If you can sort of keep your brain thinking in that respect, it does just make things easy and sort of non-destructive, because you can just go back and change.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, but yeah, we'll have a look at creating something like this. So here's one I made earlier.
How long did it take you to make something like?
Not too long. I'm hoping I can pretty much get to this point, maybe by the end of this. So it should only take 20 minutes or so, maybe. But we'll see kind of how far we get anyway. So I've set up my reference planes in here already. So you can do this the same as any most kind of 3D software here. And there's some different ways that you can sort of approach it. And generally, when students are starting to learn Fusion, the way I get them to think of it is you've got a big block of foam and you're just going at it with a hot knife and you're cutting bits away from it is one of the best ways to sort of think about it. So, we can start off with our base sort of silhouette here. So, if we start at the top, and we can just kind of roughly sketch out what would be, our main profile here. And we can put in the cylinder in the center here. I'm not going to worry about it being too precise. And then let's mirror this over then as well. So we can select a lot of it and just copy that across and get rid of these lines that I don't need. So, we can start off with this sort of base form here, and then we can bring this out then. Let me turn off my grid to... So I'm going to come right to the edge here. Like I said, it's like you got a block of foam, so I'm going to push it all the way to the edge here, and then we've got this part at the back that we won't need, so we can bring this up to there. So we've sort of got this shape to begin with, and then you can look. So you've got this slice along the front here. So we could do another sketch along here, and this one we want to cut this away, something over here. So we can just draw out a sketch again, and this is our first way of sort of cutting it out. So we'll do a symmetric cut, so it goes both ways.
So it really is like a Boolean, you're making it separate shapes.
It is. This is literally Boolean the software. That is literally the whole way of thinking about it here.
Okay.
So we've got our first sort of shape there. At the front then, you've got this cut. If I actually bring my reference file back.
I was going to ask about the references. You've got the exact same, it's an actual muzzle that exists in real life. Where do you find such lovely references? I'd like references like that.
This was from the seller's site. So the company that make this,
manufacturer.
The manufacturer site. This was their website. So that's one of the better places to find it, because if they want you to buy this stuff,
they want you to know the exact spec.
Yeah, and they want to make it look good as well. So we'll come here and we'll sort of cut out our circle. It's not quite going to be right. I'll tell you what I'll do. If I draw it on this back plane here,
because it's not angled.
Let's cancel that. Yeah, exactly. So I create a sketch on here. So it kind of, you can see it's sort of blue. You see it's kind of got a blue tinge to it a little bit. So that just means like it's referencing from this plane here. And I should be able to sort of pan around. So obviously that's the center of my world, but when it goes to here, it's the center of the circle. Yeah, exactly. So I should be able to, there we go, and it's a lot better there. So I've got this now, but this only cuts at the front. So I'm going to kind of do something a little bit weird here, but I'm going to do it as a new body so it's not affecting what's already here. And then let's hide our original one. And I'm just going to cut this to that point there. And the only reason I've done that is just so that I've got this profile in front. So obviously I drew it behind, but I want this cut out to be, just at the front piece instead. So it's a little bit of a kind of odd way.
You were just taking it forward on the model.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a way of kind of moving it. There's probably other ways of doing it, but there's always lots of ways to do different things. But I can cut this out now and I just hide this body here. So I've got that front cut out. If we hide the canvas there. So you can see you've got that cut out there. And then we can just kind of continue sort of working in that same way. So if we look at this sort of side piece here, so I'm going to ignore the two kind of cut out holes here to begin with, and just do this sort of main kind of shape around here. So you can do it on this plane here, and you can see it kind of angles it then. So you're sketching directly on that plane rather than at a 90-degree angle. Let me go back to that just so that it lets me do it on the right plane.
You mentioned that there are so many different ways to do stuff in these programs. There's one of the things that I think I and a lot of students find can be like a little bit overwhelming about learning like tons of 3D.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that? Obviously, your students have a great teacher, right? In yourself. But when you're learning this kind of a thing, it's like, are you paranoid at any point that you are not quite sure if what you're doing is like the best or most efficient way?
Yeah, it's kind of just a case of trial and error. So what we'll do with particularly the level 5 students here is they do a simple flare gun to begin with, that we make in class,
right,
and sort of do the first bit of it, and then they do it, and then we do it, and then they do it, just to kind of understand the software. After that, as with most things, it's just sort of time. The more time you spend doing it, the better you're going to get. So it's my line dissecting itself. So just filleting that, just to get that curved shape here. So again, if I hide my canvas, you can see it a little bit better there. So I've got that curved shape in here. I can now cut through. But yeah, it's just, trying out different things until you get something that works, really. So I can see here that this maybe is a little bit higher up. When I've looked at this angle, you can see.
Is it because it's quite
based
on like the normal of the...
Exactly, yeah. But I could hopefully just come and...
I'll just move it after the fact.
I'm going to try anyway, hopefully. I come to my move tool. Oh, it's kind of breaking things. So yeah, because of the way that I've drawn this, they're kind of referencing each other in some different places. So I just bring that down and then I'll just redo the arc. So
I like that it's doesn't punish you very much for, or it doesn't seem to, for making errors like that.
No, it is really good for that. That's one of the best things about it as well, because the worst thing is probably students find is that they'll do a load of work and then we'll come along and go, oh, sorry, but that's wrong. You need to do that again.
I think in something like ZBrush, that might be like a bit of a nightmare. I know a lot of the times our students will press one button in ZBrush and all of a sudden something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
It's manic, but
here we go. So let's cut this back a little bit in here. Let's try that again. Let's hide this sketch. Yeah, it's breaking something over there. I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe I should just go back.
Was this ping with the cut you made at the back?
Yeah, maybe I'm going in too deep. Yes, I am. Well, what we can do here, another cool thing actually, it's a good example. If you select a face, basically something that you've created with an operation before, can you see it's got those little 3 lines above the operation there? So it's basically telling you, it's this one.
This is the one.
So I can come back and then use this point, and I can bring this forward a little bit more. Perfect. Fix it. Good spot. See, look, you're a Yakuza master already.
But it's so nice again that you can just go, oh, that's the problem, and then move it,
and then go and fix it
without like reverting to half an hour ago or whatever it will be, in another program.
Yeah, that is the killer. Is doing bits like that. But like you're saying before about different ways of doing things. So got this cutout here that's got curved edges. So this way I've decided for whatever reason that I do it with a box. And then just fillet the corners afterwards. That's one way of doing it. Or if I do another way, is you could go, okay, let's have a circle and create sort of 2 circles here that are the same. Actually, if I draw a center line here, I can mirror this across. There we go. So you can do 2 circles there and then connect them. You could do it that way, or if I cut these away, you could also do an arc, which I used on the other one. So you can sort of select your top and bottom point, and then where it curves out to, and it's a little bit hard to see with the reference there. But again, let's do the top and bottom.
I really like that. It's almost like it doesn't matter how you get there.
No, not really.
It's that you end up with a finished product that works and looks good and whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the sort of thing is like some students I find worry almost a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Oh, am I doing this the right way? And it's like, well, what does your end result look like? If your end result looks like it should, then that's fine,
I think that's like a universal truth.
Yeah.
We find that, especially in concept art. They're always worried about how efficient the way that they're working is.
Yeah.
And they're worrying so much about efficiency that they never get the thing done. And it would have been better to just do it inefficiently. At least you'd have something by the end of it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's however works best for you. And that's the same saying about workflows and tool sets is it's just trying to encourage the best way of working for you, and whatever gives you the best kind of fastest result at the end. Well, there we go. Like, you found your way of working.
It's nice. I think it's nice to have that approach that almost encourages like play. Yeah, just taking this complex thing and messing about with it and doing a bit of problem solving and figuring out how it works and why it works and whatever else. I think that's how you get the best insights into whatever it is. Like, I'm looking at it, I'm almost jealous. I want to get on it. I want to start playing. Going, what happens if I do this or move this or whatever else?
Yeah.
So it's really fascinating.
No, it's a good bit of software for that, especially because it is so sort of non-destructive. I missed an edge there. In the way that you're working, that you can just mess around with it. These two. That one.
And then you're just going to extrude them down. Boolean.
Yeah, and it will, because it will always, and most of the time it is right. It kind of tries to be smart and figure it out for you and go, okay, like, I see what you're trying to do.
Kind of preempt what you're...
Yeah, so, when you're drawing something off of a face here, so, if I was to sort of select this face and just do a little rectangle there and then extrude it out, by default it'll go join, because it's touching, because this object is touching this face. It's like, oh, it's touching it, so you want me to join this. Whereas the second I put it into the object, it changes to a cut. So it does try and work for you, and it will try and be as helpful as it can with this. But yeah, it's just quite nice to use, really.
It looks quite nice. I think an indicator that it's nice to use is you're doing stuff, and I, as somebody who's never even seen this program before, I'm almost going, I know what you're about to do.
Yeah.
See the cog working it. It's like, I know you're making a shape and then you're going to cut in and then fill it and then cut more things inside of that or whatever else.
Yeah.
It seems very intuitive.
It is. And it is that whole case of once you get your head around it, and the kind of problem solving with it is, particularly in the way that I work, I find it's best, like, I don't always know the answer.
Yeah.
And you just have to sort of try some stuff out to figure out what's going to work best.
It's like any puzzle, I don't think you solve them first time round. There's a lot of investigative work almost.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if this would work or this would work, and just playing around with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that is one of the best ways to sort of approach things as well. You can mirror stuff in sketches as well. Come down here, it's not mirror, sorry, pattern. So I've got a few of these. So you can array the actual bodies itself, but you can also array the sketches. So I've got these here now. If I hide this,
if you just change one of them, will it change all of them? Are they like instanced or?
So, yeah,
perfect.
Yep, pretty much. Again, it's because you mirrored it. If you want, you've got move and copy as well. So you could select
and separate.
You could select one. I think it'll be in sketch mode. If I do it with the body, if I select this, go create copy, and move across, and then it'll obviously create a duplicate of it. I'll show you another cool thing that Fusion does in a second. Let me cut these pieces out here.
It's like you're pitching this program to me.
Yes, I know.
I'm going to have to go away and play around with this all evening.
Before. There we go. I don't know. Or Autodesk looking for an advertiser. You could do a little.
You should be. Yeah.
Get some kind of partnership in the right place. I'll have to move those up a little bit here. Let's grab those sketches.
And you can. It's so satisfying that you just can.
And then you can cut those out then, like that. So you got those along the top there. But what you can do, what's a really cool thing with Fusion is, let's say, okay, so if I select this face here, and then let's draw out just a square for this, hide that sketch. And I want to bring this out and I want it to line up exactly with that. I can just click that face and it just snaps it to it straight away. Or even, if I maybe place it there and decide afterwards, I can do my press and pull. Again, I can just select the face and go to that one. And it is perfectly in line.
It's stuff like this that makes me think, why don't other programs? Why haven't they thought of that?
Why haven't they thought of that?
Yeah. Because it just makes so much sense. And again, it's so intuitive.
Yeah, so you can see you're starting to kind of,
You're getting
not been doing this very long. You got the main kind of shapes.
Is there you spoke about like the individually filleting things. Is there a way to fillet the whole thing at once so that there are none of those sharp edges, or is that something you take it into ZBrush?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I suppose you could just go, fillet, and I'm scared to press it because I don't want my laptop to crash. It's a case of why would you? Especially when you're building your game mesh afterwards, having those little fillets in there, and because that's a detail that you'd bake down, it would be, you want to then, in your game mesh, but you want it to be a hard edge. And like you said, trying to get those out and then merge the technology back in. Yeah, it's just...
I'm so concept art pilled.
Yeah.
I just want like the pretty thing. Give me the pretty picture and I'll paint over it or whatever.
Yeah, I know. Like if I jump back to the one I made before, I did do what you said here.
Oh, you filleted
and I filleted all just to make it the pretty picture.
It does look lovely.
And I mean, yes, you could, this could be your high poly and you could bake it. What you could do here, because you can see I filleted them all right at the end here.
You could just...
I could jump back so I can roll my timeline to here and it's before. Yeah, exactly. So you could do it that way. But generally we'd go the ZBrush workflow, or something else that I'm going to be trying out soon actually is Marmoset's bevel shader. If you've seen that.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so I've
very yummy.
I built a sniper rifle, and I'm going to be putting that into Marmoset. So I'm skipping the whole ZBrush thing. So I built it all in Fusion.
The
whole thing in Fusion, jumped straight to Retop. I haven't touched ZBrush, not doing any of that stuff, and I'm just using the...
So that includes stuff like, because I would imagine maybe like the stock of a sniper rifle might be, because it's a bit more of an organic thing, it will be easier to do in ZBrush, but...
So here it is.
Oh, it's a very techie stock. So. Well, no, but those handles, those in Fusion as well.
So this is all in Fusion.
I wouldn't have thought you'd choose to do that, but
no. I'm a bit of a I don't know, psychopath maybe for doing this. Those grips sort of in Fusion. But yeah, so it's all completely accurate. This is actually very accurate to sort of bullet size, and it's got all of the. Actually, rather than moving stuff, let's just hide things. So you can hide the receiver. So
they're all separated.
All the internals and
so that it could be animated or what.
Yeah, exactly. So you can kind of do the exploded views, and you've got the bullets going out.
The spring.
Yeah. Again, I couldn't. Annoyingly, the spring does actually. It's supposed to sort of come down to this point, so it's kind of shorter on one side, thicker on the other. That is. I'm not even quite sure how I do that in Fusion. So that's something.
Can you, when you array, can you array radially or something?
So, yeah, that's not... no, I'm not really...
helpful here, but...
no, basically. It's easier to just do this and then just throw an FFD on it in Max and just use the lattice to just pull it down afterwards. And that kind of works. But
it looks so nice. Is there a... Obviously, it's got some kind of HDRI by default that it's like shading this just in viewport with. Can you change that?
So you've got some different workspaces that you can be in. So we could go into render, and it has got some different. You can change.
You can actually change
the appearance, and it's got a whole kind of material library in here. So you could make it stone if you want to. It's all cloud based. So I got to download them, but.
Now, is this something that you've ever actually touched in Fusion, or is this something you really would go into another program for?
Yeah, I'd go into another program. There's much better.
Because it's the same. Like when I use ZBrush and 3D Code to sculpt, but I'm just going to pull it into Blender if I can do the shading.
Yeah, I did a render of the Fusion mesh. I did it in Max with Arnold. It's just much better and much easier to do. But yeah, you can do this in here.
It's nice that you have the option anyway.
Yeah, definitely. You can in Fusion. The way that I've sort of been working at the moment is sort of with the wireframes off. But it has kind of, I suppose if you can call them wireframes. It shows you your edges. So you kind of cycle through these and you can see hidden edges as well. So you can see all like the kind of internals of this here. Or you can kind of jump to like sort of full wireframes here, sort of cycle through.
And that looks nice. The full wireframe stuff, you can imagine again, thinking as a greedy concept artist, I could imagine just presenting that as like a blueprint on like a breakout sheet or something, and it works on its own. Like it looks really cool.
Well, you can again, given that it's a CAD software and you can be very accurate, is you can create blueprints from this. So I could turn this into a blueprint.
An actual
blueprint. Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head. It's somewhere in the render here. But I did it with a previous weapon that I made, and I actually did a full kind of blueprint for it of the side view, top view, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you can absolutely do that, and it does look cool. I just want to talk quickly. You said about the grips and actually modeling those in Fusion. You can see my giant timeline bar of how many operations this took to create here. But you can scroll through this. You can actually go to the start and hit play.
To be fair,
that watch.
Oh, can you? Can we do that now?
Yeah. Oh no, it should. It'll be pretty. I mean, it'll be a while to kind of get through, but I can just pause it.
It even includes your reference images.
Maybe position it a little bit better. I don't know where it is now. It's somewhere about here.
Somewhere in that spotlight.
There we go. So yeah, you can hit play, and you can actually see it even shows you up here within your body. So every time I'm creating something new, you can see it's there, and it's even showing like whether it's visible or not and stuff like that. But yeah,
that's quite nice. I imagine that's just quite nice. It's like you can use that as a teaching tool.
I did actually let us play on the board for one of the classes, and we do as well encourage the students when they submit is to just do an OBS screen recording of this, showing the development, showing the kind of their asset here. So you can sort of see different ways.
And just look how simple that blocking is for like the main body.
Yeah, to begin with, isn't it? It's just fun.
Which is so nice. It's that there was a meme recently that flooded the internet with all the artists. It was like make something first.
Yes.
And then
make it good after.
And that just seems like Fusion 360 and shell basically, doesn't it?
Yeah. I've loved seeing those memes. It is really cool. But yeah, it's just sort of, like I said, having a foam block, you just cut it that way and then just slice it.
Involve me. I'm getting in here. Yeah. I'll show you tomorrow. I'll make something.
I keep getting distracted, and there's so many cool things in here to show. But the grips here, so you've got some in here. If I'll jump back to one of my older files here, called forms.
Oh.
So forms are probably as close as you'll get as traditional modeling inside of Fusion.
Okay.
So you can see I got this new purple.
Nibbles or something in another program. Nubs.
The nubs, yeah.
Weird orbs that like glue together.
So it's basically, I draw this out here. So you get this, and it's like working underneath a subdivision modifier.
Right.
So I can create my form here, and I can go to edit. Let's turn this wireframe on here. And then if I come down to display mode here, you can sort of see, so there's box display, and you can do your control frames. And then what you've got up here is you got your selection filter. So you can actually choose vertex, edge, and face. And then you can grab these.
It is very much like Max.
And you can move it around. So this is literally like you've just got a primitive and you've stuck a subdivision on. This is what you get. So you can move these about here, and then if I wanted to, not finish form, let's come back into here. Come on, give it to me. Oh, let me grab it. Hot blob. There we go. Oh, I think my laptop's lagging a little bit. Let's close this one down. Don't save. Come on then. Right. So if we go insert edge. Come on now. Oh, let me grab it. Oh, we're back. Okay. So insert edge, and I can select this full sort of loop of edges here, and you can see this little green line here. So I can move this about here, or I could do an edge like if I go both, so you can do an edge.
How can you increase the number of those? Like if you just want to subdivide those edges?
You just sort of have to do it again. Right. But you can see as I've added those in, again, like having a kind of control loop in a tiny division. Yeah, exactly.
It is almost exactly like, I was watching Cam do something in Max yesterday, and it's very, very simple.
Yeah. So essentially, we can't build a full grip now, but this is how you do it. It's just add in this edge, move them around, and you just sort of mold.
And again, I like that. I like that you don't. I think people are racing to the finish line too fast. I like this as sort of slowly catchy monkey.
Yeah.
Bit by bit modeling.
Yeah, and you get there, and then and you get something really cool at the end of it.
You've sold me.
Awesome. Thank you for joining me. And I hope you all enjoyed finding out about Fusion.